ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me again, your movie guru, with another review. This time I'm going to be reviewing none other than The Tax Collector. I got it on DirecTV. I think it was like $8 to rent, something like that. But for those of you who don't know anything about the movie, it stars Shia LaBeouf, Bobby Soto, and George Lopez. And if you've seen the trailer, you know what type of movie this is going to be. It reminds me of End of Watch or Harsh Times, Brooklyn's Finest. You know, it's in that vein of films where it's going to be this kind of harsh, gritty look at, you know, an urban lifestyle. American Gangster is another one that reminds me. It's in that same vein of film. Now, this got a whopping 17% score by the critics, and then 70% score, positive score by the audience. And I can understand. I'm going to try to explain a little bit why. So, if you go in expecting those type of movies like the ones that I just mentioned, and you know those are your thing, that's the type of film you're going to see, then you'll pretty much get what you want. Like I said, this film is in the same vein as those. You've got Shia LaBeouf, he plays this kind of really tough enforcer type of guy, and then Key's going along with this other guy. They're kind of low level mob type enforcers. It's not the mob. It's more of a street gang, but I think it's eventually they work for the cartel. But they go around to all the city's various gangs, and you know they charge a tax on them. That's why they call tax collectors. You know, every illegal thing that the other gangs have their hands in, they get their cut of it. And what their job is to do is to go and get, you know, that cut for their boss. Eventually, one of the boss's old rivals, straight from the cartel, comes back into town, and he's trying to assert a new world order. So it is. And that's what type of ticks off this war. From the critics' perspective, I absolutely understand why this was not liked. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Even though, so I knew what I was getting into when I, you know, wanted to see this film, and when I saw it, but there's a lot of elements that I don't think were done very well. And having seen those other films, I can point to ways that they did it better. So one of the things that I'll mention is one of my biggest pet peeves is when they do a lot to introduce a character and they talk about his past and they build him up as this type of, you know, brooding figure or this tough guy, and then they don't really capitalize on it. And so it just leaves you having to take their word for it. A good example of this would be, or a good example of the opposite of this would be the John Wick movies. So they begin with, you know, they build up this legend of John Wick. They tell you why he's got this big reputation. Everyone's afraid of him, and he's got well known in the underworld. And then throughout the course of the films, they absolutely prove it to you. This is why this guy is known the way that he is. In this film, and I've seen others like it, where they build up this character, they give you this reputation, but then you don't ever really get to see it. And that kind of cheapens it for me. Another thing that I didn't like about the film was films where the main characters are kind of bad guys, you know, or anti-heroes. They sometimes fall into this, where to make their character more palatable because they're not a hero, you know, they have to go over the top to make the bad guy, you know, just over the top evil, because, you know, in comparison, their guy's not that bad. So not only did I feel they did that, but then I think some of the ways that they tried to make the main characters, specifically Bobby Soto, seem like a good guy, it seemed a little absurd to me. It was like, okay, this guy's a cartel member, a willing and active cartel member, and you're simultaneously trying to paint him as, you know, this good guy at heart, you know. And if any of you know reputations of what cartel members do, it's like, it's almost kind of like trying to say that you're a member of ISIS, but you're a good guy at heart. You know, So I thought that part was a little, kind of crazy. But then I started thinking about why would it uh, have such a high score? Why did most audiences uh, enjoy it? And I think this is an example of one of those films that, for one, given the time that we're in, you're looking for something that was made for the theaters, and you can enjoy a theater quality movie, from the comfort of your home, theater quality, whatever that means. Uh, but also, you're going to, if this is your genre, if this is your type of film, then you know that going in. A big example of this is one of the other films that I reviewed, and I was surprised at all the response I got positively for it, Killer Man. And I was able to really see that the people who saw this movie are, the fans of that movie. The people that sought this movie out, that said, I'm going to go and I want to see this, it's the fans of that type of movie. And I think that's a lot of the case here. You kind of know what you're getting. So it does have decent action. I thought there are a few instances of gore, and I thought that it was a little bit over the top, meaning that it wasn't necessary. I do think sometimes it enhances the film, or it has a place in a film. It's there for a reason. Some of the cases here, I didn't think it was necessary. But like I said, the acting's fine. I think Shia LaBeouf does a good job. Bobby Soto does a good job. George Lopez, they're all convincing in their roles. Maybe Bobby Soto the least out of those three, but so you're not going to have a problem with that. It has the gunfights, kind of a cool background and insight into this urban world. So if that's what you're going for, then you're going to enjoy that. So that's why I think you see that high. But for me, I give it a 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, films like this I've seen. I think they were done better. Another film that I didn't mention that's to me kind of in the same vein, the two Sicario films. I thought those were much better than this. So that's just me. Hey, if you think I'm crazy, let me know. Send me a comment. Say, hey, you're out of your mind. I love the movie. You should change your opinion because of this. But, we'll see. That's what I've got for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time.